I had a very serious question to start with. Tell me, why have you dressed up like Steve Jobs today? So the Rahul Mishra, who makes everybody look like a zillion bucks in couture top to bottom, actually likes to dress up comfortably.
I have to make those clothes. Ultimately, I have to work on dummy. I can't really dress up to work.
What do you think about when you're making these clothes?
What you create is that is what you really see in the world. This is what you really notice. And for me, I'm very, very clear about what inspires you.
Take me into your mind.
So right now, for example, I'm working on a kind of most pertinent problem to our world. My collection called the Pale Blue Dot. Carl Sagan, our first man-made object, it was Voyager 1, when it was crossing, last boundary of a solar system, he asked if camera can be turned back and we can look at Earth one more time. And that's the farthest, in that perspective, humans can ever see Earth. So Earth looked like a pale blue dot hanging in sunbeam.
And how did this thought come to you?
I'm a science graduate. I have always been fascinated with astrophysics, astrology. Like at my Hill house, I've got like really beautiful, amazing telescope. The same telescope was used by Stephen Hawking. I've invested into that. There's a beautiful, profound quote which he used, like, every king, every servant, every lover, every hater, every hunter, every gatherer, they all were historically ever lived. And whatever stories you hear about, whatever you think about, all religions, all dogmas, everything was created on this planet. All hate, all love, everything was created over here. All wars, everything you know about the world is all created on the pale blue dot, which is even smaller than a grain of sand if you compare it to whole Earth.
High fashion and couture has always been unattainable. Now when you mix it with art, it takes it a step higher. Is this a deliberate attempt to make it even more unattainable and complex?
I would say it's a mix of both the things. I remember in 2020 when I first joined as a first Indian fashion house to start doing haute couture in Paris. We were invited at Pompidou Center of Art. Over there, one of the chief curators, all the curators of Paris, they all assembled and they created a manifesto by saying, like, now fashion or some of the pieces of fashion, they will also be regarded as important as a Mona Lisa is, as art is. That was really, really beautiful. Somehow inspired me to start feeling like an artist rather than looking at trends, or also look at my own style. Because what happens a lot of time, what you create when it becomes a part of your style or a journey or a technique which becomes a part of a style, or you call it my signature. A signature is nothing else. It's a safety net where you say, I don't want to change because I perfected this technique. Somebody else is going to take it away from me if I leave it. And season after season, if I keep working on it, you become more like a craft person, not actually an artist. Because you're working on the technique season after season, and eventually you're going to become really good at it. So as a fashion designer, when I'm trying to do every time something different, I'm taking that much of risk. And often I try to do something which is not perfected at my studio. I only get like very less time, maybe 2-3 months of time to perfect it. And there are a lot of imperfection also over there, which is also outcome of the journey.
So much of fashion and art getting blurred. Is that something that has always been the Rahul Mishra way, or this is a dialogue you found of late?
I think art has always inspired designers. Sometimes I really sincerity and purity goes missing because it's a lot more of commerce. Lot more is because of VM. So somehow I would love to see probably a new bag which is created by an artist which looks genuinely new. I always find it very difficult to visualize a muse who's going to wear that outfit. So this season also in creating the collection, we know most of these parts, most of this collection may not be worn apart from editorials, because the problem is when you hide the face, which celeb is going to wear it? So we are taking out a lot of wearable opportunities of the collection also, but it somehow moves us really a lot because those images also are used most as editorials. Because what happens 50 years down the line or 20 years down the line, people will find it difficult, new generation will not even recognize most of the celebs. But a great picture which is created by a great photographer, a wonderful art director, a magazine editor, and our clothes, it's a great picture which will be remembered forever. So I think as a brand, we are more invested into editorials than red carpet sightings.
Take me through that evolution that you as a designer have gone through.
So a Kerala collection was my first ever classroom project at an ID. And I remember my teacher, my mentor, Dr. Himadri Ghosh, he was giving all of us, some states to work with. And a brief was to create clothing for people who go to universities, young people. My other batchmates were really happy. Somebody got Delhi, they were chit system, and I got Kerala or Trivandrum. And when I went over there, I realized at that point in time, they were shirt and lungis. I said, no. I was looking down upon it. I said, listen, what are you going to do with that? And if they have to buy something, they want to expose surplus, we have to client study, etc. And nothing was fitting. And I was really, really sad about it. And I asked him to change it, maybe give me Bangalore or something like that, so that I can study little fashion. But if you don't want to do it, then you have to do it. So I was pushed into that. Then I said, I just packed my bag, went to Kerala for 1 month during my summer holidays and summer internship. Over there, lived with craft people, lived with Padma Shri awardee Master Gobinathan. And I learned about everything. And that's where this idea came to me. There are a lot of tourists, they visit Kerala, they are very fashionable. Maybe I create some clothing for them, which is also part of the culture, because when you're traveling somewhere, you usually pack your bags, and mostly backpackers were traveling to Kerala. And in the humidity, the denims and everything was misfit for the region. So I thought about what about taking local textile, because the handloom people are struggling, and create something which also augments the demand of handloom products, and create a reversible set of clothing, because Kerala fabric is so see-through, you can't make a garment out of that. So we created a reversible set of clothing where one side of the garment, when you wear it other way, it changes completely. Again, lived an engineering and NID background. Actually, NID gave me this philosophy, which I always say Gandhi's vision. Any step you take in a direction, think of the weakest and most poorest person you come across, how it can help to gain his own Swaraj. So as a designer, I have to create clothes. If I slow down the process of creating clothes, it allows more people to participate. And the participation is what enables us. So this is a philosophy remain the same. Although when I was doing handloom for first 6 years of my life, I was doing handloom. Then what happened? Many designers started doing handloom. And then you see almost, because I did Gen X show, almost every second collection which was showcased a Lakme fashion because of handloom, which was very, very good for handloom, which is very, very good news. And 2012, I made first garment, which was a very Asian inspired black and white thread work where flowers are morphing into buildings. And I started enjoying it. I started enjoying that medium also at the same time. And then 2013, for the Woolmark Prize win, my part collection handloom, which somehow was appreciated a lot across the globe. You know what happens, often you don't decide your path. Your success and failures, they shape you.
Now that you're more successful, the stakes are even higher. How do you look at failure?
I really feel failures are the most amazing things which can happen to you. Success is often I really feel success does not allow you to look back. And whole idea is success and failures are always related terms for the outside world. Deep inside, every failure is a success, because you get to learn a lot from that. And when you're hungry, you're never successful. As we finish a show, every magazine is talking about it, every person on the planet is talking about it, they're praising it. But deep inside, we know what is lacking from there. There's also a very, very beautiful quote by Beethoven, where it goes out like this: a true artist is never ever happy about his work. He never gets success in his life, because deep inside somewhere he knows how far he is away from that artist where he wants to be, and probably he is never going to reach over there.
We are waiting for you. is, she's the other half of your label, and like you said, she's the one that brings out the best in you. She's largely away from the spotlight. Like, you're here today, she's managing your schedule somewhere. She also seems like somebody who's always, doing behind the scenes work very quietly. Tell me, how does she balance your life?
The most amazing of Divya is like, she's the one who does, I would say, 90% of the work, because she makes sure that the art, whatever I create, at least commerce keeps running, at least things keep selling, people are happy around. She's the biggest critique. She's not going to think even if I present a most beautiful sketch in front of my team, I say, Divya, this is what I want. If Divya has to say like, this looks like really rubbish, really bad, she's going to say out loud in front of interns also. So a lot of time what happens between two of us, we do have that kind of honesty, that kind of, there's no layer. Nobody is saying anything to please us anywhere in the studio.
I want to understand, how has the brand Rahul Mishra always managed to keep real buyers at the heart of the brand's growth strategy?
I think for us, people who are investing into buying our clothes, they are the most important. Again, it also comes from Gandhian idea. When you go to SBI bank, you always say, customer is your God. So these are the people who are buying those pieces, and that's how we are able to fulfill our dreams of showcasing somewhere or creating a mark internationally. And the second thing is, we have to also make sure all our craft people, all our people, they are in a good space. Like, for example, if I just share with you, Afzal Bhai, because of him, I started doing embroidery. He sent his daughter to study in London. And this kind of power which fashion brings really inspires us. And for this beautiful connection between a craft person who's sitting in a village and between this I would say a person like Mark Zuckerberg who's buying that shirt has to be established, and we are somewhere in between playing a kind of very, very balanced role of creating and co-creating things with people, which also allows this ecosystem to run.
Tell me, why have you dressed up like Steve Jobs today?
So I'm right now coming straight from hills. You never know how the drive is, and I want to be comfortable. I was in car for 5-6 hours, and these are my clothes I wear almost every day.